Hey guys, it's Lightning Flash here, and today I wanted to come on here and give you my thoughts on the American Chestnut GMO. Starting off, I just want to say I highly support the American Chestnut GMO. Here's why I support it. I believe it is the only way to bring back the American chestnut in our lifetime, in my young lifetime. I may be only 19 years old, but if we don't do something, if we don't release the American Chestnut GMO, I'm not going to see American chestnuts all over the woods in my lifetime. Yes, we've made progress. We've found American chestnuts growing in the wild that have some sort of blight tolerance, but it is not enough for them to be like on a mass scale and planted everywhere, because obviously they're still going to blight. But with the wheat gene they have put in this chestnut, it takes the blight and makes it no longer where it harms the tree. That's the right wording. No longer harms the tree anymore, so they can coexist together. This tree is 99.9% American chestnut. Now, when you have the Chinese chestnut mixed with the American chestnut, it's not 99.9% American chestnut. And what I've found is they have not been able to recreate the American chestnut, 99.9% American chestnut, growing straight upright, rot-resistant wood. They have not been able to get that with their breeding program, breeding the Chinese with the American chestnut. They have done tons of studies, and they have proven that this GMO does not cause any negative effects on the environment. The only thing this would cause is positive effects. That little wheat gene that's in there, all it does is takes down the blight. That's literally all it does. It's not going to make the trees grow like weeds, and I mean, I wouldn't think that would be a bad thing anyway, because our woods are not very diverse. Right here, I'm looking at this, and almost all of these trees are maple trees. Yeah, our woods are no longer diverse because we have a lot of species dying out. What is it? Ash trees are gone because of a bug that came from China. We have butternuts, which I think they have a blight or a fungus. They have a fungus which makes them hollow. Those trees are gone. Those used to be very abundant. There's two. Then there's multiple others. Like, there's a ton of other trees that are going extinct. Our woods are becoming no longer diverse. And I care about the environment, and releasing the American Chestnut GMO would be a positive. I could see in my lifetime, early in my lifetime, and only in 20 years, I would be like 40, and they'd be all over the woods again, because people just go, have planting parties, just plant these things everywhere. And it could be done in my lifetime. Now, if we go the route of breeding them, keep breeding them, I mean, even breeding, not breeding them with Americans, but not breeding them with Chinese, but breeding just Americans together, for us to get one that's perfect, it's going to take us at least a couple hundred years to get one that's perfect. But if we have the wheat gene, we have the GMO American chestnut, and we breed it with these surviving American chestnuts, like the project we were starting, it would be 100% necessary still. Our breeding project. Why? You still need diverse genetics, because you can't just have all the genetics of this GMO American chestnut. You got to be able to breed it with other trees, because obviously you got to have genetic diversity. And we have our American chestnuts, our breeding program. We're going to take that eventually and hopefully breed the GMO with it. And then I'll have some that I don't breed the GMO with. We'll try to get a blight resistant tree without it. But there's so many benefits to the American Chestnut GMO. Okay, let's say our breeding project is successful. We get a tree that's blight tolerant up to like 30 years. But then you breed that. I mean, we won't know for a while, but then you breed that with the American Chestnut GMO, and you get even more tolerance because you have natural tolerance to the blight with the wheat gene, and then you have even more tolerance from having the natural trees. You get twice the resistance. So there you go, and you have a tree that could go hundreds of years like the old tree. There's so many benefits. It outweighs the bad. I haven't seen any argument. The GMO people, they just hate GMOs. There's nothing there. There's nothing negative about releasing it. Oh, they'll say, well, we've had the environment for years without this tree and it'll take over. I've seen some very dumb arguments against it. Now, if you want to do a good argument against it, tell me in the comment section below and I'll listen. But I have not seen one good argument against the GMO American chestnut. Our forests are no longer diverse. Most of these places that are timbered, the only thing that's growing back are maple trees because they grow fast and they're just taking over. And the squirrel populations are really shrinking. I can't even go out and hunt gray squirrel because you don't see any. Like, you don't see any. It's a big problem. Like, it's woods. You should see gray squirrels everywhere, but no. There's nothing for them to eat anymore. And yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of timbering. Obviously, it has to happen. But we should do something about this. And releasing the American Chestnut GMO would be so beneficial to the environment. In 20 years, imagine. You can walk around, see these big American chestnuts producing chestnuts, go sit under them, shoot squirrel out of them. All the benefits, and just people just against it. I do not see any problem with the American Chestnut GMO. We have destroyed our environment, and if we have a way to fix it, that's not going to harm it, because this tree used to be everywhere. Was it like 1 in 3 trees? It used to be 1 in 3 trees. It needs to be back in the woods. So I 100% support it, and our breeding project is 100% necessary because you need genetic diversity. Obviously, I'm not going to just, eventually when it is released, yes, I hope to get my hands on the GMO American chestnut. I'm not going to just mix it with all the trees. I want to try to get one that is naturally resistant to the blight. But it may take decades upon decades, and we don't really have that much time because our forests are shrinking. We have so many tree species going extinct. Once again, like I said, ash trees, butternuts have been gone for a while, and there's just no bringing them back. Then we got to start working on the butternuts. Right after we get the American Chestnut GMO done, we need to start working on the butternuts. You could probably use this gene in the butternut, and it would probably do something similar. So we need to get to work on that. And the ash trees, one of the best hardwoods there was, and a very good firewood, virtually extinct now because of a bug that came from China. So I feel like everything comes from the Asia area, mostly because it's like, I don't really know, but we got the coronavirus from Asia. We got the chestnut blight from Asia, and we got the ash tree bug from Asia, and there's probably a lot more. But it's just something that happens. You're not supposed to transport stuff, especially when you're transporting wood and it brings bugs over. All right, real fast, let's go over the pros. So the American chestnut is back in the woods. You have abundant food for squirrels. Chestnuts, which is, you have more of a food source. You're gonna have more of a food source from the American chestnut being back than you have from hickory trees, than you have from oak trees, and even walnut trees. Chestnuts, if you don't know, under the shell, the whole nut. It's not like a hickory nut where you got a little bit of nut in there. The whole thing is nut, just under that peeling after you get it out of the burr. So it's an abundant food source for deer, for squirrel, for raccoons. And that's not to mention the valuable timber of the tree. Obviously, we need a ban. As soon as we start planting this tree in the wild, you should not be able to timber this tree for like, I don't know, 200 years probably, because it needs to spread out through the woods. But the timber factor, rot resistant wood that is fast growing, so many benefits to the American chestnut. Bringing it back would be so good for the environment. And like I said before, our breeding project's 100% necessary because you have to have diverse genetics. You can't just have the genetics of just the GMO American chestnut, and also the natural immunity that we would be breeding added with the GMO. Like I said, you'll get double the immunity, and basically the tree will be impervious, I think that's the word, impervious to the blight. So then the blight stands no chance. It no longer affects the tree. The tree can now spread out across the land. And our breeding project, we are going to try to get one naturally, which is definitely possible, considering you've seen those, if you've seen the videos on my channel. Those American chestnuts definitely have resistance or tolerance because they try to grow the wound shut. And the one tree keeps growing the wound shut. We'll see how long it lasts, but I have a theory that those trees are that those trees are tolerant up until like 30 years, and then they blight. So the offspring of that, bred with the ones that we bought from our American Chestnut GoFundMe. If you want to support that, the link will be in the description. But those mixed together, then mixed with the American Chestnut GMO, we got a tree that can do amazing things. So thank you to everyone that donated to the GoFundMe. Much appreciated. I got to get to work on clearing the area out within another month. And probably, yeah, within another month, I'm going to have those trees in the pots. Still got to figure out the pots. I'm not sure what I'm going to use for pots yet, but got to figure that out. But 100% our project is necessary. Even if they release the American Chestnut GMO, which I hope they do, our project is still 100% necessary because you need strong American chestnut genetics, plus chestnuts from different regions have different features, different nut sizes, different leaf sizes. Like there's all kinds of different variations in the American chestnut when you go region to region. So it's going to be fun. The project is going to be awesome, trying to breed a blight-resistant American chestnut. And the American Chestnut GMO, even when they release it, is not going to be like readily available to the public, I don't think. I think immediately what they're going to do is plant it on public lands, which they need to do. And we can easily start getting that tree spread out all across America and help healthy up our forest. Okay, thank you guys for watching. I know I was a little bit off on my wording because, yeah, I don't know. But hope you guys enjoyed this video. As always, don't forget to drop a like on this video, hit that notification bell, and subscribe for more content. And as always, keep it electrified. God bless. Link for the American Chestnut GoFundMe in the description below. Peace out.